Have you been trying to market to pre-foreclosure leads forever and you're unsuccessful? Or you can't get yourself to consistently close pre-foreclosure leads or having challenges getting hold of the homeowners? Guys, today we're going to address this issue and I'll show you exactly the 2 things you're doing absolutely wrong, like most newbies. Guys, my name is Mamadou Diallo and I started with pre-foreclosure leads. My first real estate check was a $68,000 assignment fee and it came through pre-foreclosures. And guess what else? My whole real estate portfolio, rental portfolio, which is over dozens of properties, all came through pre-foreclosure leads, right? All right, guys, so make sure you like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you don't miss out when I put out new content to help you in your real estate journey. Let's get into it, guys. There's only 2 things you're probably most likely doing wrong, like every other newbie that reach out to me on TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat, wherever. The number 1 thing is trying to market to pre-foreclosure leads in the wrong state. For those of you that don't know what pre-foreclosures are, these are sellers that are behind on payments. They owe somebody money and that person is trying to collect by going after the property. I've done a whole playlist. Make sure you check it out. That's number 1. Number 2, how did I build my rental portfolio with pre-foreclosure leads without using none of my own cash, no credit, and no credentials? Guys, is by using a strategy called creative finance. I've also done a whole playlist. Make sure you check it out on this channel. So the number 1 thing, guys, is being in the wrong state. If you are in what we call, so you have the blue states and you have the red states. No, this is not about Kamala or Trump. All right, this is more about being in a state where the process to foreclose for the lender is either a long process or a very short and very aggressive process. So if you're in a blue state like Maryland, for example, New Jersey, South Florida, guess what? The process for the lender, because those are judicial states, takes way longer. The lender have to go through so many headaches, go in front of a judge, get permission. By the time they foreclose on the seller, you can talk to a homeowner in New Jersey and they haven't paid their loan. It's been since 2015 and the lender still cannot foreclose on them. Why is that relevant to you trying to market to these leads and put them under contract? Because the seller have 0 sense of urgency. They have 0 sense of urgency. They know that it's going to take this lender forever to try to take the home from them, right? Because they're very whatever you might call it, it's a very friendly state, not business friendly, but it's a very tenant friendly state. And so with that being said, it's gonna take forever. So when you call the lender, you say, hey, I'm calling you about your property on 123 Main Street. I see you facing foreclosure, right? I'm here to help you. Guess what's gonna happen? They'll be like, oh yeah, well listen, if you can pay off my arrears, which is $100,000 because I haven't paid my loan for 2 years, and then you can also come to my house and tie my shoelaces and clean my floor and then put another $100,000 into my pockets, maybe, only maybe, then I'll sell you my home. That's the kind of mindset you're dealing with when you market to judicial states. And so it might take a little longer. It might take you way more calls, way more door knocking, right? Guys, I've explained all these different strategies on the creative finance, on the playlist, on the pre-foreclosure playlist. Make sure you check it out. But it might take you way longer to convince the seller to even listen to you in the first place. That's why it's so much challenging. So the first mistake is avoid, starting in the wrong state if you're new. Why? Because when you're new, you want to get your first deal the fastest way possible to get the proof of concept so you can stay motivated and keep marketing, right? Ideally, you want to get your first deal within the first 90 days if possible. And that will give you the conviction because now you got to check. Like the amount of the check is irrelevant. Even if you get $1,000, but guys, from A to Z, you market into a homeowner randomly, putting them under contract, and then you wholesale, you just sell that contract for a fee and you make $1,000. That will change your brain chemistry forever. So what you want is as fast as you can the proof of concept. So those states is going to be a little bit more challenging. All right, so now it's better to start in what we call non-judicial states. These are the red states. So it's places like Georgia, Arizona, I think California is one of them. So all these red states, you can literally go and do a Google search or maybe use ChatGPT, guys, and just ask ChatGPT, hey, what are the non-judicial states when I'm marketing to pre-foreclosure leads? It's gonna give you every single little thing you want. You can, and I want you to pick one market as a newbie. Don't focus on 3. Pick one. And yes, you can absolutely do it virtually. So let's say you live in New Jersey and you're trying to market to Georgia. You absolutely can. You don't have to leave your couch. All the data is public online. You can go pull the list online. You can find the numbers online. I've done a whole playlist. Again, go check it out. Okay, so you can market virtually. It's called virtual real estate investing or virtual real estate wholesaling. So make sure you're in the right state. That's the first thing. The second thing is having the wrong assumption, right? So if you're marketing to pre-foreclosure leads and you just assume, you know what, it's gonna be easy. There is nothing, absolutely nothing easy, guys. It's actually even more challenging to market to pre-foreclosure leads. It's gonna be simple, but it's more challenging. Why is it gonna be simple? Because when you get into real estate wholesaling, guys, the first thing that you learn is that you need motivated sellers. Those are the best leads to go after. Who's more motivated already than somebody who's about to lose their home into auction? Nobody. So, and plus, because it's public record, that means the whole world knows that, let's say, Josh Mo is behind on their payments, and they either have to do something or the bank will take over the home. So before you even call them, you cannot know that they already have some pain. So you don't have to convince them to have pain. They already have pain. You have to convince them, though, that you are the right person to solve the problem for their pain. That's your sole job, is to convince the homeowner that you are the right person to solve their problem, help them stop the auction, help them with their moving expenses, help them move on to the next chapter of their lives, whatever. That's the sole job you have. Now remember, you are not the only one calling these leads. They're getting calls from hundreds of thousands of people. They're getting calls from the lender, the debt collectors. They're getting mail from real estate agents. They're getting calls from other real estate investors. They're getting text messages. They're getting hammered and hammered and hammered. And so you assuming that it's going to be easy just because the seller is about to lose their home to the auction to give you the keys to their house and sign a contract, you are absolutely going to fail. It's going to be hard. It's going to be challenging. The way I like to describe it is, guys, if you market into pre-foreclosures, and this is not an insult to the homeowners, but you are literally starting an adult daycare. That's it. Because most pre-foreclosure sellers, even though they're dealing with real life challenges, some of these challenges include going through divorce, somebody passed away, right? Loss of a job. So, but their personality, typically, they're procrastinators. They procrastinate on everything. And that's the reason why they still haven't reacted to the fact that they're about to lose their home, and all the mail that the bank has been sending them and all the calls that, you know, the debt collectors have been calling them, trying to work with them to maybe put them on a prepayment plan, whatever the case may be, they've been ignoring it. They've been burying their head in the sand, praying that the problem is just going to take care of itself. That's the kind of personality you're dealing with. But if you approach it as a mission, I am going to help as many homeowners as I can. Remember, you are a problem solver first. You solve a problem, and the result is you getting a property and a check. But first, you got to solve a problem. These people have real life problems. And so the first thing is you have to show patience, because I promise you, there are some of the hardest sellers to deal with. You're trying to help them, and they're trying to do everything against what's in their best interest. They procrastinate. They don't want to talk to you. They deny that the house is facing foreclosure. They shop your offer around, right? Or sometimes you take the problem away and now they want to back out of the contract. All these things, I want you to be ready to face it. What's going to differentiate you from the people that fails is the persistence. How persistent are you? Relentless on your follow-up. Relentless on your follow-up. Guys, we stop auctions up to the hour of. Here in Georgia, which is the market where I am physically, even though we do market virtually in 7 different states, every first Tuesday of the month, that's when properties go to auction. Guys, we follow up with sellers up to the day of, the hour of. So let's say the auction is at 11. We follow up with the sellers up to 10:55 that Tuesday. We don't give up. It doesn't matter if the cost, my team is moms, if the cost is out, if they block the number, we call them with a different number. Why? Because we take it as a responsibility to help as many homeowners as we can. Now again, guys, remember the analogy of if you're seeing 2 people that are drowning, typically you want to focus on saving the person that is swimming towards you, not the person that is swimming away from you, because they might drown you, right? So some of these homeowners in the beginning, they say F you, F you, F you, F you, F you, and then the day before or the day of, then they reach out to the last person that reached out to them because you're on top of their missed call list or on top of their text messages, right? They reach out to you and say, nah, I'm ready for help. Literally, guys, as I'm making this video, yesterday there's a homeowner in South Carolina that we're looking to help. We could have helped up to the last minute. She ended up losing the home because she procrastinated just to send a document that we need. That's how these people's minds work. But it is what you sign up for once you decide to go after these leads. So it's extreme patience, extreme persistence, extreme caring. You truly have to care to honestly, to like be completely emotionally detached from how these sellers will treat you, how they'll talk to you, how some of them even after you take away the problem problem, they won't be grateful or try to back out from the agreement even though you've helped them avoid the foreclosure. You're gonna have to care. You cannot pretend to care. You can only pretend so much. So if you truly don't care about helping people, guess what? Don't even try. This is the two main reasons I see people failing when it comes to pre-foreclosures is the persistency. And remember guys, when you market into pre-foreclosures, you are literally an FBI agent. You are literally an FBI agent. Most of your time is spent on data search. You have to dig deeper. So let's say you cannot get hold of John on 123 Main Street. You don't just go on and call the next person. You don't go on and call the next person. It's having the systems of, okay, I cannot find John. Let me go on TruePeopleSearch.com or another third-party website and let me find a family member. Let me try to find a cousin, a wife, an ex-wife, an uncle, whatever. These sites give you potential family members. You call each and every one before you move on to the next record. That's another thing that newbies don't do, is they just move on to the next record like they were calling a vacant list. Is not the same. When you call in pre-foreclosure leads, guys, I want you to spend as much time as you can on the data search, on finding different family members, because sometimes the person might have passed away. We've closed on deals where we had to track down the seller in prison by finding a family member, and the family member is like, oh yeah, I know the person that owned it, but that person is in prison. You cannot really talk to them. Here's how you can talk. Boom. But you spend hours and hours. So if you have 100 records of pre-foreclosure leads, whatever states you are, preferably, like I said guys, be in a non-judicial state, and you cannot close, you cannot get one contract, you are absolutely doing something wrong when it comes to the data deep dive. That's it. There's no secret. There's absolutely no secret. It's not about what you're saying. It's not about the line, because it doesn't matter how good you sound on the phone. They will hang up on you. They will cuss you out up to the last minute. That's why you even want to focus on the sellers that have an auction coming up within the next 4 weeks, so that they have that sense of urgency. Now, it doesn't mean you will not have to talk to a lot of them to get one contract, but it's persistency. Most newbies that I see, either they're talking to a lead and they lose the lead, or they can't get hold of any of their leads, or they're complaining, oh yeah, Mamadou, I've been calling, but I can't get a hold of anybody. Is the laziness to deep dive and persist and persist and persist and persist. All right, guys, these are the only two main reasons I see people failing when it comes to pre-foreclosures. So make sure you check my playlist on pre-foreclosures. Not only that, make sure you check out my playlist on creative finance if you plan on doing buy and holds and you don't want to use none of your own credit, none of your own money, and none of your own credentials, guys. All right, until the next video, guys, leave a comment below. Let me know if there's any details you want me to expand on. If you have any questions, make sure you leave it in the comment below, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Until next time, make sure you keep that boom mentality, guys. The boom acronym stands for B, stands for bold, and then you have to be obsessed, and then you have to be optimistic, and lastly, you have to have that abundance mindset, and that's what the boom stands for. I'll see you guys in the next video. Boom, boom, boom.